The Bible tells us that everything works for good to those who love and trust in God. And in my life situation, the way I've been walking with God, God really loved me, and God really wanted me to live. The reason I'm saying this is that I think, or I believe that God chose me and He anointed me for a reason. Because I remember when I look back to how my life when I was brought here on earth until to where I am today, I believe God had a reason. As He tells us in the Bible that He knows He knows the number of our hair. And before even we were put in our mother's womb, He knew us. Before even we were put in our my mother's womb, He knew us. Why am I saying this? Is that my desire was to come in Nairobi. As you, for those who have been following my story, my desire was to come in Nairobi, but after I'm done with school, I never finished school. And by then, by good luck, or else I can say, I managed to come in Nairobi. While in Nairobi, I started working as a house help. So in that process of working as a house help, I get pregnant. And I am forced now, now the situation forces me to leave the job and go back home. At home, still things are not so good for me. And I just have to run back and come back to Nairobi. Coming back to Nairobi, thinking that maybe where I'll be staying, it will be, now at least I'll be okay and I'll be loved. It was the opposite. And things happens and I have to leave that place. So there's just a way when I think there's a way God was doing things for me and I didn't realize. It's like He was taking me from one journey to another. And anytime I feel like now I'm there, I just start feeling comfortable there, He does something, or He brings a storm that pulls me and pushes me to another level. I can relate this to the story of Jonah. When Jonah alitumwa kwenda Nineveh, alidecide to divert into another place. And in that process, God brought the storm. And that storm made Jonah to be thrown into the river and swallowed by the fish and taken express to where God had destined him to go. So sometimes there are some things that usually happens in our life and you wonder, God, why are these things happening to me? Why me? But again, sometimes God brings storms in our lives for us to move from that place, for us to push us, to remind us that that's not the destiny. There's a destiny I've put for you somewhere else. That's not the destiny. And when that storm comes, sometimes you're confused. Like for me, I was so confused. I didn't know by then, because I was brought up in church. I was baptized. I was brought up in a Anglican. By then it was a CPK. Yeah? I was baptized. I was confirmed at 12. And I got saved at 14. But all through things started falling apart. Things started falling apart. They were not going according to how I had thought. For me, my view was to finish school and come work in Nairobi. But God's purpose was a different way. So sometimes we might limit ourselves on what, like, you're asking God, I want to be like this. But God has to pass you through so many stages he has to take you through so many stages until you reach where he wants you to be and not where you want yourself to be. So for me, coming up with this story and sharing it here, I started sharing this story because I just want to help someone. Because sometimes, by then, when I was going through all these storms, sikujua, unaona, mi niliona ni kama nateseka, alafu I was on my own. You see, hakuna mtu, sikuwa na, like, let's say for example, sikuwa na brother, sikuwa na any close relative mwenye ningemkimbilia at least for guidance, at least for help, at least for shelter. I was all alone. But in all this, God was pushing me. Like anytime I feel that I'm comfortable somewhere and I inflict something in it, inafanya inabidi nitoke hiyo place nisonge place ingine. So wakati mimi nafikiria nao nimefika, ndako comfortable hapa, kuna tu kitu kanatokea and then I just have to move. There are so many places as I continue telling you my story, that God has pushed me, that whenever I feel comfortable somewhere, there's just something that happens and I have to move. So that's why as we continue, you learn that there are some processes that God has worked in me that I sometimes, I usually just sit down and say ni Mungu tu alinipitishia hapo. Kama sasa hii ya kuchapwa, nilikuwa nachapwa, wananikanyaga mpaka mateke, wananigonganisha huko na huko, but still God sustained me and I was able to escape that toxic relationship. A relationship that I did not see at the first time. Why? Because by then, sikuwa hata na guidance. Alafu pia, ni ile unaona, ile you are in your, huwezi fikiria such things by then, because sikuwa na nimeona experience. Sisi kwetu tukilelewa, sikuwa iona, as much as tulikuwa hatukuwa that well up, but sikuwa iona hii kuchapa mtu. Especially, I would say I respect my dad. Why do I respect my dad? But because for us girls when we were growing up, sikuwa iona dad ametuchapa. Mimi my dad till the day he rested hakuwahi nipiga na hakuwahi raise voice kwangu. But mom, I can say alinipiga several times. I don't know, uncountable. Na kukeleleshwa uncountable continuously. But for dad, and again for boys, I remember brother yangu tu mmoja alikuwa amefukuzwa shule. Sijui alikuwa amechapana huko. So akafukuzwa, akaletwa home. Na sasa unajua ile wamechapana huko, unajua lazima ingefikia dad. That was the first time niliona dad amepiga brother yangu na alimpiga vibaya. That's the only time niliona babangu akiwa amekasirika. So all through, sikuwahi expect that in relationship kuna kuanga na such things kama kuchapwa, kama nini. So unaona, for me, I did not have the experience. And maybe I thought that falling in love with the father of my, that I knew that all will be well. And you know, I was expecting the love, the romance, you know. But my expectations were totally different from what God had destined for me. So there are some things you go through in your life, your expectation was this way, but you find that they are against what you are expected, and you start complaining and doing and thinking that you're all alone. Like for me, I had reached that stage of, let me just die, because it's like the world doesn't need me. It's just the death that really need me. But God had a purpose. So in my next video, I will tell you how I was saved after buying the 60 pills, contraceptive pills, and I wanted to take them at once. How I was saved from it, and how I moved to a next stage. Otherwise, stay blessed and stay focused, and always believe in yourself. Trust the process. Sometimes it is so hard, sometimes it's painful, but always trust the process and let go of the bitter things and just trust the process. Ensure he who started a good fight in you is able to finish. See you then. Until we meet again. Goodbye.